Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
And we give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Jet Manuel. And in tonight's game plan, Troy Rosario, Calvin Abueva, Poy ERRAM, Ian Sangalang, and Kelly Williams will break down the exciting big man matchups in the 2021 PBA Philippine Cup Finals.
We'll also talk about Steph Curry and the reigning MVP Nikola Jokic and figure out if they are ready to lead their teams back to NBA contention. And we'll check in with Graze, Bombita, and Cayuna on how they've become more awesome with the Cignal HD Spikers. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. The PBA Philippine Cup Finals begins tomorrow, and so tonight it's time for us to talk about the exciting big men matchups in this series. And in order for us to fully execute this discussion, we are bringing back our resident big man duo, the game's very own Twin Towers. Woo, yeah, we had to have the graphic ready for both of them. Yes, we love having them together so much that they deserve a duo nickname of our own. Here on the show, James LAPUT and Troy RIKE, thank you once again for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
All right, guys. So the reason why we wanted to talk to the both of you is because we want to figure out really what makes these big men so tough, especially now that you have had first-hand knowledge on how to face off against these guys. So we're going to start with TNT first. Troy, tell us a bit about the game of Kelly Williams, Troy Rosario, and Poy ERRAM, because you look at the type of big men that TNT have, they can play in different ways, in, out, and wherever on the floor.
Yeah, that's actually the first thing that came to mind. Like, they really have it all. They can all shoot from the outside pretty well, finish inside, and then they're also just really smart, really savvy players playing in that system. So it's tough, you know, you can't like force them into doing one particular thing, because if you let them shoot, they're going to shoot. If you make them go inside, then they'll punish you in there. So it's a tough matchup. They have a bunch of things they can do.
We didn't catch you the last part of what you said, Troy, but I wanted to follow that up. These big men, you've gone head-to-head with TNT, and you've gone head-to-head with these three. I mean, amongst those three, who did you have the hardest time against, and what made it so tough against that specific player?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know if I can choose. I'll say Kelly Williams was tough to guard because he's just a veteran. Just respect him a lot, and just his feel for the game is really good. So it's tough to his movement and just where he places himself on the court. It was tough to keep up with him.
Yeah, James, we talk about how these guys normally can stretch the floor, could score in different ways, not just pounding it inside. And it could make defense, especially for guys like you who are so good at just rim protecting. Since you guys have to stretch out, you're going to talk a bit about what they do on offense and what you have to think about every time you go up against them.
Yeah, well, I mean, TNT was my first game in the league, so it was definitely a crazy day. But playing against three bigs like that, which are really like modern day big men now, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, having to be aware that ERRAM can pop out at any time. Kelly Williams is gonna go out for a random ball screen, or Troy Rosario, he plays almost like a big guard. You really got to be aware, active at all times, especially against TNT's bigs.
Yeah, so we talk a lot about their offense, but out defensively, James, what do they pose in that way? Because again, you do have the size advantage, but talk a bit about their strength.
I mean, they're tough as nails. I'm gonna just put it out there. Everyone knows, ERRAM, Defensive Player of the Year, Kelly Williams, Troy Rosario, their MVP are in their own rights, and defensively, they're really, really tough. Kelly's gonna hit you, and he's a really strong dude. He's gotta use his body, and then ERRAM is long as hell. And he's long and he's quick. So it's just like, you think you got the layup, but he's gonna just pogo stick and get you. So He's real good. And then Troy, he's a hell of a dude, man. He's a hell of a player. Real tough.
So Kelly's gonna hit you.
And
Boy is long
Boy
as
is
hell,
yeah.
and Troy's just gonna get you. No, I love those. Those are the
Troy's
cliff.
just
great, yeah.
holding your grill. He's
That's-
always there.
That's the Cliff Notes version of that scouting report.
Yeah, and I want to go now moving up there, talking about people, guys or players who hit and guys who are long. You got to think about two guys on that Magnolia side, Troy.
Oh,
you
my
have
goodness.
Calvin ABUEVA and Ian Sangalang. What do you see on going up against them? These guys, what do they bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean Calvin's energy and his toughness is just crazy. He's like a really tough matchup. He's just gonna put his body on the line, do whatever it takes for the team to win. You got to be ready for him to be physical with you. And I won't even lie about Sangalang. I was familiar with Junmar and some of those guys coming in, but then once I got onto the court with him, he just really he can just do everything. You know what I mean? Doing the little things, his finishing inside. I was really impressed when I went up against him.
Troy, looking at Ian Sangalang's production, we all know that he has one move, and that is to go to his left. And you can scout it as much as you want, but it's just so hard to stop. Did you have that in your mind every time you went up against a guy like Ian, knowing that, okay, he's going to go to his left, he's going to go to his left? But then can you talk about actually having to stop it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough thing. We definitely scout. Our coaches do a good job of preparing us. But, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, most of the stuff he does is simple, but it's just so effective. He just gets to his spots, uses his shoulder, and even if you know it's coming, it's just tough to defend it.
Exactly, and we talk about now the finals. It's coming up. These group of big men, Magnolia and TNT. James, what matchups do you see are gonna happen in this first game? Who's gonna match up with who in the bigs?
Well, I would say for sure ABUEVA's going to be key. So they're going to need someone on ABUEVA at all times. So I feel like it'll be someone like, for ABUEVA, probably Troy ROSARIO. Hold on. Let me put this question. Okay, and then, son. That's my son, you guys.
It's all
Guys,
good. Yeah.
No, at least we know you're home.
That's my son. He wanted to debut.
Yeah, so at least we know you're home.
And then, who else is there? Kelly Williams. Honestly, I think they're gonna deploy the vet Rafi. They're gonna have to deploy Rafi. He's gonna be there for Kelly or JP ERRAM. And then in terms of Ian Sangalang, yeah, that's gonna be ERRAM's assignment. That's gonna be all their assignments, man. Ian's something else.
Yeah.
They're all gonna have to take turns with Ian.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to take turns with that. Troy, do you see that the same way? Do you think that it will be on TNT to show multiple looks on a guy like Ian Sangalang, or do you feel that even Magnolia will have a hard time containing the bigs of TNT?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tough assignment, no matter the team, no matter the player. But I think that's the best way to do it, honestly. Talented bigs like that, you got to show them different looks, different energy, different defensive styles. I mean, that's your kind of best hope on throwing someone like that off his game, who's just been so effective all conference.
All right, you know what? We're going to have a lot more to discuss later on, but this time we're moving on from the PBA going to the NBA. But in the meantime, are you a Cignal prepaid subscriber but haven't loaded for at least 3 months? Well, it's the best time to bring back the awesome. Don't miss the action in the PBA playoffs on PBA Rush, and we also have the upcoming NBA season action on NBA TV Philippines. And of course, the UAAP Classics on the Varsity channel. Load any amount from October 1 to December 31, 2021 and get your next load for free. Just go to your nearest load retailer or buy load online. For more details, visit the official Cignal Facebook page. Per DTI Fair Trade Permit number FTEB 127864, series of 2021. After the break, we'll talk NBA with the game's Twin Towers as they break down their favorite team's chances in the upcoming regular season of the NBA. Stay tuned. You're watching the game. Welcome back to the game. I'm Paulo Del Rosario. We are one night away from the return of NBA basketball, and while all eyes are on this year's title favorites, there are a couple of teams just under the radar that may just sneak into contention. Now, still joining us tonight is die-hard Dubs fan Troy RIKE and James LAPUT, who is representing the Nuggets from the Mile High City. You know, I'm still bitter as a Jazz fan for what the Nuggets did to me, but you know, we're having you here anyway, James. So we'll start out first with Troy. Troy, of course, it's been a minute since, you know, they have been a contender. Talking about the Golden State Warriors, obviously Steph Curry had a great season last time around. But then, with the pieces getting healthier, namely Klay Thompson, what do you think the ceiling is for the Golden State Warriors this season?
I mean, I think the sky's the limit. You mentioned it's been a little bit, but we have one thing we've never had, and that's a lot of exciting youth. You know,
Yeah.
James Wiseman, Jordan Poole has been going insane in the preseason. He's probably one of the I'm most excited for him out of almost any player to see play this season. Andrew Wiggins, welcome back. We have Kuminga. We got Moody. I think we have a great blend of, you know, veterans with Klay coming back, but also that exciting youth. I mean, I think that's kind of what it takes to win a championship. So if those guys can progress and we keep the veterans healthy, I think we have a good a shot as anyone.
Okay, let's go outside being an analyst, inside being a fan, Troy. When did your fandom start? When did you start supporting the Dubs, and why? I mean, was it during the We Believe Baron Davis
In
times,
other words,
or-
are you a
right?
bandwagon Steph fan?
Oh, yeah. I was
or
gonna
were
say that,
you
but I'll
a
say
Warriors
it.
fan from before?
Nah, I'm from the OG days, you know, growing up in San Francisco.
There it
I
is.
think the moment that really secured my Warriors fandom, I went in 2006, I believe, so right before the We Believe Warriors.
Yeah.
And I was watching Adonal Foyle warm up.
Ooh,
You probably
wow.
have no idea who he
Classic.
is. Just a big man.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he threw me his wristband that had the little Warriors bolt on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I got to be a fan forever now. So that's really when I was like, all right, you guys get my fanhood.
All right. So we'll now move on to James. So you look at this Nuggets team. Of course, there was always a lot of excitement because you have a guy like Nikola Jokic. But then Jamal Murray out injured for quite a bit. Who do you think will fill in the shoes? And do you think that they can still go deep in the playoffs despite maybe not having their star player for the early parts of the season?
Well, yeah, the Jamal Murray's going to hurt them for a little bit. But, I mean, they picked up a real nice rookie in Bones Highland. And he's super. You know, I'm going to just put it out there. He's real good. Though, he'll probably come off this definitely. And a guy like Michael Porter Jr., he's definitely going to take the leap this season. He's going to have to. Also, we don't have JaVale McGee or Paul Millsap anymore. So
Yeah.
someone like Aaron Gordon's really going to have to step up too. Jokic is going to put up his numbers. You know, it'd be great if he can have a little bit more. But, they might even deploy Bol a little bit more.
Yeah.
We're deep. But it's going to have to take a little bit of adjusting until Murray comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, for sure. And you know me personally, pal, James, I was a big fan of Denver in the bubble. I mean, that was crazy series. That's where I opened my eyes on how they perform. But I need to ask the fan questions. Denver isn't a team you're usually exactly supporting, just like the Utah Jazz. When did this start for you, Troy? James.
Well,
Jake?
honestly, I really liked Denver back in the Carmelo days. So when Carmelo was there, JR, and especially when they got Allen Iverson, because I was a huge AI fan back in the day. So when they got AI, I was like, okay, there's a team called Denver Nuggets. I guess I like them now. but then, of course, once Melo got traded, or he went to New York, and then JR wasn't there, and neither was AI, I kind of lost my interest in them. But when they did get Jokic, and this was before all the Jokic hype, when they got Jokic, and I seen what he was doing, I really started to like Denver again, and here I am.
Yeah.
My favorite thing.
I like the fact that, one guy brought you to the Nuggets and then you just decided to stay there for the rest of your
Like
adult
Adonis Boyle.
basketball.
Just
Yeah.
like Adonis Boyle.
Yeah, Adonis Boyle. But then, James, looking at this team, this Denver team, a lot of people are saying that maybe they could have made it all the way to the finals in the year of the bubble, and maybe if health went their way, it could have been a different story. And could be a different story even now. Do you feel that if they do get healthy at the right time, they're actually a dark horse contender in the league?
Well, I mean, there's so many pieces that go into the winning capabilities of the team. But yes, for sure. I mean, you can't count them out. Once they're all healthy, once they're all on the same page, and they're they're peaking, they're a beast.
Yeah,
they're a beast of the team. They've proven it before, and they've proven it when hurt. So you can only see how much happens, or see what happens when they're all healthy.
Yeah, you know what? Just looking at these two teams and looking at how the West is shaping up, we could actually have these two teams facing off in the first round, and I wouldn't be really surprised. So I'm gonna ask Troy right now: why will the Warriors beat the Nuggets in a series?
His words, not mine.
Why will they beat them? I mean, I think just right off the bat, having the best player on the court, Steph Curry is going to be the best player in that series.
Really?
Murray, coming back, I wish him nothing but the best, but it's always tough coming back from a big injury like that. And I really think, like I said, the X factor is our youth. I know that the Denver Nuggets have some guys too, but I think the collection of talent we have at the Warriors, the mix of veterans and youth, it's hard to compete with that.
All right, guys, I want you to judge Jet's answer on this one, because in these two teams, we may have potential MVP candidates or contenders. So you have Nikola Jokic and Steph Curry. Now, Jet, between the two, do you think that either of them could come up with the MVP, and who do you think gets it over the other?
I mean, you're going to look at Jokic and Steph. I mean, with respect to the quality of players now. But for me, personally, I mean, I just went through a fantasy draft when I drafted number 1. I drafted Nikola Jokic. Sorry, Troy. So I think statistics-wise, it's going to be Nikola Jokic.
You think Nikola Jokic is going to get it? Hey, James, your thoughts on that? You think Nikola Jokic could be MVP again?
Hey, he could get that again, like, no cap. He is a beast, honestly. And the way basketball is today in the NBA, my guy puts up hella numbers. He ain't athletic, so he ain't getting injured like that. So he's a perfect fantasy player for you. He's a perfect fantasy player.
Yes, I'm happy with my pick. Sorry, Troy. But Steph is he's just going to be Steph. But before you guys go, I have a quick question for both of you. Just answer yes or no. Troy, do you think Golden State is better than the Utah Jazz?
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Yes.
What are you doing?
James, do you think Denver is better than the Utah Jazz?
I have to say yes.
Okay, thank you. My point is made. Thanks, guys, for joining us tonight. That was a great conversation. And always a pleasure.
All right. You know, Troy, James, we're gonna have you on the show more. This may be the last time we see Jet on the show, but thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, so watch out for NBA tip-off as the Golden State Warriors start their season tomorrow morning against the Los Angeles Lakers, while the Denver Nuggets are set to begin their campaign against the Phoenix Suns this Thursday, Manila time.
And when we return, we'll check in with Graze, Bombita, and Cayuna on how their lives have become more awesome with the Cignal HD Spikers. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. The Cignal HD Spikers just got more awesome with national team setter Cayuna and Bicolana pride Graze, Bombita. And tonight, we catch up with the freshest HD Spikers as they embark on a new awesome journey. Makipagkwentuhan tayo with Jel and Graze. Welcome now to the Cignal family.
Hi po. Good evening po.
Good evening, Jel and Graze. Kumusta kayo? And actually, unahin ko na si Jel. Jel, kwentuhan mo naman kami, unahin natin bago dumating sa HE Spikers. Kamusta naman yung experience mo in the national team?
Ayun po, masaya po yung experience ko doon kasi sa bubble training pa lang po. Sobrang malaking magandang experience yung nakakasama ko yung mga galing sa iba't ibang school, galing sa ibang team. Ayun po, talaga. Tas nung game na po, mas lalo kong nakikita yung magagandang sistema ng laro ng ibang team, ibang country.
Of course, and syempre, I'm sure yung experience mo doon, you're gonna be able to take that to the Cignal HD Spikers. And Grace, I wanna ask you first, how does it feel to finally be part of the Cignal HD Spikers, the family here? Grace?
Sorry po. Sobrang nakaka-excite po kasi lalo na yung mga kasama ko, mga veteran po. And alam naman po natin na Coach Shaq po talaga is magaling na coach. So, sobrang ako na-excite kasi alam kong marami po ako matututunan with my new team po.
But Grace, can you tell us a bit about yung process mo in deciding to go with Cignal? What made it to be the right team para sa iyo for the next season?
For me kasi po, naramdaman ko talaga yung pagiging warm, yung pag-welcome nila sa akin na parang isang pamilya po na sobrang ko siyang naramdaman na alam kong mag-grow po ako lalo sa team na to with the help po ng coaches and my teammates.
Oo. And Jel, ikaw naman, papunta ka na ngayon sa, it's a new team from you, fresh, with, again, national team experience. Ano yung tingin mo or ano yung nasa isipan mo na gusto mong dalhin or madadala mo ngayon sa Cignal HD Spikers?
Siguro po yung naging exposure ko po sa national team. Pwede ko po yung dalhin sa magiging game namin next year po. At si Coach Shaq po kasi matagal na din po kaming nag-uusap niyan. 2019 pa lang. Sadyang di lang po talaga kami nagkatagpo. Kaya nung after ng liga po netong sa Ilocos, ayun po nabigyan po ako ng opportunity na kunin po ni Coach Shaq. Kaya nag-go na po ako agad. Pero bago po mangyari yan, syempre po kinausap ko po muna yung last team ko, yung family ko, and okay naman po sila.
Well, Jel, it's interesting that you talked to si Coach na before the move and finally making the move. And syempre, Cignal wants to be a better team than they were last season. Ano yung mga discussion nyo? What did you feel that the mission is for Cignal going into yung next season?
Ayun po, sabi naman ni Coach Shaq sa akin na binigyan niya ako ng assurance na aalagaan niya daw po ako. So ako po parang na-boost yung moral ko na ayos ako dito kasi si Coach Shaq, knowing Coach Shaq naman talagang maano sa sistema niya, madisiplina. Kaya yun po. Ayun po yung nagandahan ko po sa Cignal.
Grace, ikaw naman, ito, tatanungin ko sa'yo to, pero bawal mo sabihin ang sagot mo ay si Jel. So Grace, sino naman ang pinaka-excited? Alam ko kasi excited ka na maging kakampi mo na si Jel ngayon eh. Pero sino naman ang mga player na excited kang makalaban or maging kakampi dito sa Cignal HD?
Sa kakampi, sila, Ate Rachel po, and sila Jokic, sobrang na-excite po ako na makasama sila. And sa mga magiging kalaban namin, halos lahat eh. Kasi alam naman natin na lahat ng team nagpe-prepare para po next year. So, kumbaga, kailangan talagang paghandaan mentally and physically po.
Well, Grace, I'm assuming that you got to talk to yung coaching staff na in terms of yung role mo, what you need to do, what you need to improve on, and syempre anong madadala mo sa team. What was told to you, what was asked of you going into Cignal para you can become a real asset to this team?
Yun nga, sabi ni Coach Shaq na may nakikita pa siya sa akin na mai-improve ko pa. And naniniwala ako kay Coach Shaq na tutulungan niya po ako na may labas pa yung full potential ko as a player. Yun po.
Yun naman talaga, no? Ang ganda ng And Jel, balik ako sa'yo. Ngayon, sige, galing ka sa national team. I want to talk specifics naman about your game as a setter. Ano yung gusto mo pa i-improve and ipakita sa Cignal HD fans and sa coaches at sa teammates mo na ito na, gumaling ako, ito yung pinag-trainingan ko or ito yung pinag-practicean ko habang ngayon na off-season?
Ayun po, syempre may tiwala naman ako sa coaching staff po ngayon, sila Coach Shaq na alam ko po na mabibigay ko po yung best ko, mailalaro ko pa yung totoong laro ko.
Oo.
Of course, it feels like there's a lot more to come for the both of you girls. And for the fans of the Cignal HD Spikers, syempre, they do want a better season coming up sa PVL. Jellica muna, your message to the Cignal HD fans who want and are hoping for a brighter future.
Yun po, everyday po namin pinagtatrabahuan yung program po na binigay po ng coaches at para po yun sa team Cignal. Kaya sana po suportahan niyo kami hanggang dulo.
Graze, ikaw naman, message to the fans?
For the fans po, they can expect me na magiging ibigay ko yung 101% ko in every game po and to contribute as much as I can po sa team.
Ayan, perfectly said. Jel and Graze, maraming salamat for joining us tonight and good luck sa new team nyo and new experience. Magsusuporta kami para sa inyo talaga.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Jet Manuel.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.